Hare Krishna. Om Agyantimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayamrupa Kadamaya Dadati Swapadantikam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyati Deshatarine. A question has been posed to me that why Srimad Bhagavatam should be kept in home, number one. Number two, why should one read Srimad Bhagavatam? And number three, what is the concept which has been discussed mainly in Srimad Bhagavatam? These three questions are there which are perturbing everybody's mind. Now let's go back to Bhagavad-gita. Lord Krishna is answering the questions of Arjuna. He is in a lot of confusion regarding whether to fight or whether not to fight. So a stage comes when Krishna has given all the message, he has explained him everything, and now he says ultimately that I have explained to you the knowledge, still more confidential, deliberate on this fully, and then do what you wish to do. Tat ichchesi tatha kuru. Yat ichchesi tatha kuru means do as you like. There is no compulsion, you have independence of will, you have independence of thought. You can do, you can work, you can act as you like. There is no compulsion from my side. Then further he says that maybe Arjun may not think that I have left him out. I am ignoring him. So he says, Sarv guhe tamam bhuyo shano me pramam bacha. Ishto asim dranmati tato bakshayami te hitam. He says, because you are my very dear friend, I am speaking to you my supreme instruction, the most confidential knowledge of all. Hear this from me, for it is for your benefit. He says that I am giving you some instructions. Again, you may follow, you may not follow. But this is again the most confidential knowledge, most confidential instruction, and I am giving this knowledge. Hear from me. And this is for your benefit. It's everybody is selfish. We are also selfish. So we say that why should we follow your instructions? He says this is because this is for your benefit. Now the instruction he has given, Man mana bhavmad bhakto adhyaji mam namaskuru mam veshyasi satyam te prati jane priyosi. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my dear friend. Again, this knowledge is given to his most near and dear friend. And what is the knowledge? Always think of me. How to think of him? How to think of him? Become my devotee. How to become devotee? Worship me. How to worship you? And offer your homage unto me. How to offer our homage to you? This question will arise in everybody's mind. Now he says, what is the purpose? If you follow all these instructions and do what I say, then you will come to me without fear. Means you will have salvation, liberation, moksha, mukti, that you will come to my abode and stay with me. Now Krishna says that these things also a little difficult. One may not be able to do all this. He says, now I give you my final instruction, something more than this. He says, Sarv dharman pratyajya mam ekam sharanam braja. Aham tvam sarv papebhyo mokshashyami mashucha. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. Everybody is, those who understand the spiritual knowledge, those who understand the instructions of Bhagavad-gita, those who understand the words of Lord, they know that going to his abode is not an easy process. No sense and no pities can take you there. You have to get rid of sinful reactions and reactions in response to piti. Piti means punya and pap. Both reactions have to be abandoned, they have to be finished. Only then you can go to him. He says the process of that is you surrender unto him. Now how to surrender? This is also not known. Now comes the role of how to enter God's abode. How to enter God's abode. Now, my question is very simple. That if you want to go to somebody's house, abode is Krishna's house. If you want to go somebody's house, the only requirement there is, the only one requirement is that you have to have love with him. You have to have love. Unless you have love with Krishna, you cannot enter his abode. Entering his abode is possible only when Krishna loves you and you love him. It is a reciprocation of love between the two. Radhati Prati Anati means both are loving each other. You are loving Krishna and Krishna is responding by loving you. Now the question is, unless you have love with Krishna, unless you develop love with Krishna, unless you compel Krishna to love you reciprocally, you cannot enter his house. Entering his house is not that easy. But because of certain instructions being given by Lord and you follow them, you can enter his house. This is what he is saying. Man mana, he says, you can come to my house. Now how to love him is how to develop love with him, is how to enter that. So for that reason, rishis means sages, particularly Ved Vyasji, he has written a book. He has compiled a book, Srimad Bhagavatam. That is that you after reading Bhagavatam, there are stories. There are stories of Dhruv Maharaj, stories of Prahlad Maharaj, so many stories there. These stories that tell you that how to develop love with Krishna. How to keep Krishna always in your mind, man mana. How to keep Krishna always in your mind. This thing is taught there. How to pay homage to him, how to become his devotee, how to worship him. All these things, all these instructions, all these systems are explained in Srimad Bhagavatam in detail by telling the stories of different devotees. How did they do austerities? What conditions led them to do austerities? What was the purpose of those austerities when they started doing austerities at a very young age? Dhruv Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, at a very young age they started. Now, Srimad Bhagavatam is the book which tells you that how to develop love with Krishna. Srila Prabhupada writes, to learn the science of loving God, there must be a book which teaches. Either you hear from sages, but he also has learned from some book, or learned from his guru, or he's learned from his guru as well as read the book also. He says, to learn the science of loving God, there must be some book. It is only that book which gives you the knowledge, which gives you the information that how do you love Krishna. Some authoritative literature means literature which is written and given by disciplic succession, means Pramanik Guru. Yes, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that book is Srimad Bhagavatam. Now it is certified by Lord Chaitanya himself that Srimad Bhagavatam is the book, it is the authoritative literature which teaches you science of loving God. You learn how to love God. And once you start practicing to love God, God in reciprocation loves you, and then your purpose, your chances of going to his abode are 100% fulfilled. Now it says, Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam. Srimad Bhagavatam is the spotless description of how to love God. Amalam means spotless. There is no spot. There is no better description. From the beginning it teaches how to love God. Those who have studied Srimad Bhagavatam know that the first verse in the first canto is Janmadi Asyata Satyam Param Dhimahi. In the beginning the author says, I am offering my unalloyed devotion unto the Supreme, from whom everything is emanated. This everything is come out of Lord. He is the source of everything. He is the source of everything. So it is a great description. If you want to learn how to love God or Krishna, then study Srimad Bhagavatam. So purpose of keeping Bhagavatam at home is that if you keep Bhagavatam at home, you have a chance of reading it. You start getting love towards God, and to understand that love, that how to love, you go to read Srimad Bhagavatam. So it attracts you. Once the Srimad Bhagavatam is there in your house and all the books are lined up, then they attract you. Arey Baba, the books padha hai, kyun nahi padhta hu? Let me read. After all, I have spent money on this, and everybody is saying that Srimad Bhagavatam is must, so I must read it. I must read it. So then he reads. He says, I am offering my unalloyed devotion unto Supreme, from whom everything is emanated. So it is a great description. If you want to learn how to love God or Krishna, then study Srimad Bhagavatam. Now he says, there is a precondition. There is a precondition. This is also to be understood very clearly. One should follow it. And for understanding Srimad Bhagavatam, the preliminary study is Bhagavad-gita. Study Bhagavad-gita to understand the real nature or identity of God and yourself. Means you understand what is soul and what is body and what is Lord. Three things. And Ishvara, Jiva, Parma, Krishna. You have to understand this. 5 things are discussed in Bhagavad-gita. Ishwar, Jiva, Kal, Karma and material nature, Prakriti. So you have to understand your relationship with God, and then when you are little advanced, when you are fully convinced that Krishna is the only lovable object, then the next book you should study is Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is what we recommend. I keep a copy of Bhagavad Gita in my every room. I am practicing doctor. I keep it downstairs also. If I come down, I read from my room. If I go up, I read from my drawing room. If I go to my bedroom, I read from my bedroom. Because Bhagavad Gita is a book which you have to read, and I keep it everywhere. And then after reading Bhagavad Gita, since I have understood it quite a lot, I am lecturing on this also. So then I started reading Srimad Bhagavatam. And Srimad Bhagavatam is a wonderful book. Prabhupada says that Bhagavad Gita is schooling, that is ABCD of spiritual life, and Srimad Bhagavatam is graduation. It is an advanced study, and then postgraduate level is Caitanya Caritamrta. So one has to understand that all the books are very important, but Srimad Bhagavatam is the book which teaches you how to love God. Yeah, you have to go to his abode. You must know that how to love God, practice it, then you start loving God, and after you got loving God, then after your death, after you leave this body, Krishna is there to take you straight forward to his abode. There is no obstacle in between. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.